At first, this video was going to be about manifesting, but I think I'm going to stay with the title and it be about manifest destiny. Manifesting is about speaking what you want into existence, putting it out there in the universe, and somehow, some way, it's going to come back to you because you have talked it up, you have talked it into realization. Manifest destiny, however, is a 19th century term from somewhere in the 1800s where specifically to the United States, settlers, mainly European settlers, felt that they had a God-given right to this country and they were going to take it by hook or by crook. Let's talk about that.
No.
Hello, Governor. This is Restac Steve, nupefromdaville. Doctor Who, Season 5, Episode 9, Cold Blood. I'm going to keep this recap real short. So this is a two-parter. I do believe this is a Chris Chibnall written episode. May not be, it may be Moffat. Anyway, this two-parter. So last we talked about the hungry earth and the problem that the doctor was having, the Silurians, and we left off with the doctor telling the people, you have to be your best selves. We have a hostage, they have a hostage, in which he was talking about Amy specifically, and he was going to travel down to where the Silurians came from. He was going to travel down through one of the sinkholes through the tubes to get to them. The doctor, she decided to go with him. She's like, there's no way you leaving here. I am an archaeologist, or, she studied the earth and things like that. She said, I have been waiting my entire life to see some stuff like this. I'm coming. Meanwhile, underneath, we see that Amy is still alive. She woke up. Underneath, she saw the Silurians, so she saw their real form. And it looked like they're about to do experiments on her. She finds that she is in a operating room on a table right next to the father who we saw at the beginning of episode 8. He's not alive. However, he does tell her, he's like, look, it's all bad. They did an experiment on me. They cut me open just to see how I tick. So Amy comes up with a plan to free herself. The doctor gets down there and he's looking around, and they run into some more Silurians. The general and some of her soldiers. Amy Pond and the guy managed to free themselves. And they take a couple of and they're looking around, and they see where the son, the little boy that they took hostage, he's in an enclosure, and it looks like he's got some of the vines or something growing on him. Looks like they're doing some kind of experiment on him. And they see all these other little pods that have Silurians. They look like they're asleep. They're in suspended animation or something. And above their heads is tubes that look like they lead up to the surface of the earth. And Amy came up with, this must be how they move back and forth. They venture out some more and find that the Silurians have an entire army on standby, just standing there in some form of suspended animation, sleep, waiting to be activated to go to war. It's a bad look. And she said, we need to find the doctor right now. The doctor is greeted by the gentleman, the Silurian who runs the whole thing. He's the prime minister, ambassador, president, whatever of the Silurians. And the scientist who was about to experiment on Amy. The doctor starts talking, and the president dude tells the general, stand down. They decide to do a prisoner exchange, a Leia, for Amy. The doctor at this point has no idea that the guy that they took at the beginning and that the little boy are still alive, but let's do a prisoner swap. Problem is, the general, she was not happy about this. She's ready to go to war. And we find out that Alea is her people's, I don't know, daughter, cousin, something, she's related. Meanwhile, Karen, and I'm gonna call her Karen, back on Earth, she didn't mess around and went wild, got mad at Alea because her son was taken. And the thing is, it's easy to write it off as like, the doctor told you need to be your best self. But if your child was taken, you might act some kind of way too. Like, I know I would be beside myself. But she took a stun gun and basically stunned the life out of Alea. Alea ends up dying. It's not a good look. And right now at this point, there's no way we're not going to war. The doctor calls up to the surface and is like, hey, we have negotiated some kind of peace. Y'all need to bring Alea down and we'll make a swap. And he sets the doctor that went with him and Amy down to negotiate on behalf of the human race. And they're like, what? We don't have any authority and we don't speak for the Prime Minister of Britain, let alone the rest of the world. And he's like, listen, you got a young person and then an older woman with some wisdom and some life experience. Who better than, especially people who are not politicians, to speak on the behalf of their human race? Okay, sure. The problem is, Karen never believed in this peace that's trying to be brokered. So she had her father set up the drill to, a few minutes after being down there, start drilling, or to blow up the drill or whatever to take everything out, or make sure that the Silurians couldn't come back up or something like that. Which is clearly they didn't need the drill or any of that type of stuff. They could make the little tunnels anywhere they wanted. They come down with Alea, and the general sees that Alea is dead. And she's like, oh, hell no. We going to war. I don't care what nobody say. We going to war. They start chasing the doctor and all of them. The doctor is pissed, and he's like, how could you do this? A couple things happen. The scientist is killed. The general, she kills the scientist first. They are running. The prime minister dude says that they have a way that they can get out and a way to put all the people back to sleep. He's like, you know what? We're not ready to do this negotiation. The doctor, him come up with, like, we're not ready to do this negotiation. Maybe we need like another 1,000 years to get humanity on board with what's happening here, because we're not ready to meet another species from underneath the earth that says they have claimed the earth, and we've been on top of the earth for however long we've been here, and we say we got claimed. We're not ready to share this earth. The problem is the general gets loose. She shoots at Amy, or she shoots at someone, and Rory jumps in the way, and Rory dies. The doctor's telling Amy, we got to go. We have to leave. All the Silurians are being put back to sleep, and the grandfather, when he got stung in episode 8, he was slowly becoming a Silurian. So it wasn't the poison and the venom or whatever in his body wasn't killing him, he was becoming one of them. In some weird, strange twist of fate, the lady who had been working with him, the scientist, they had a weird kiss, like they had always been wanting each other some, but never acted on it, and since they thought they was about to die, well, whatever. He decided to stay because being in one of the sleep pods would help heal him on a cellular level, and he wouldn't turn into a Silurian. The scientist, she said, you know what? I'm staying with you. I wanted to be down here. I'm ready to work with the little prime minister dude of the Silurians to broker a peace, and let's talk about what humanity's got going on, even though in 1,000 years, things gonna be like way different. So they get back to the surface. The father, the son, Karen, the doctor, Amy, They, the doctor is beyond upset because Karen did this. She's the one that took it upon herself to take out Alea, and it messed up everything, a possible peace. The problem is when they found out who did this, the father and the son looked at her with such disdain. She was going to have to live with what she did. So not only did she kill another being, and she's going to have to live with that guilt, but her family looked at her like, we have no idea who you are. You know how much I love my quotes, but I don't have a quote this time. Manifest destiny. Who's right? If we look at this video, the Silurian said, we have been here for thousands, millions of years. This planet belongs to us. At this point of the video, there were 6 billion, 7 billion, I think that now there's like 8+ billion humans who said, we've been here for thousands, hundreds of thousands, a million years, whatever, and said, we didn't know nothing about y'all. As far as we knew, there was nothing but animals here. We have claim to this. Who's right? It's hard to take a side because you can see both sides. The thing about manifest destiny is when you say something belongs to you, and not only that, in manifest destiny, you're saying you have a right to it by God. That in itself takes you out of the equation. You are doing something that is heavenly mandated on you. So that means you have already found justification in whatever you have to do to take it. But let's flip it. How does that look? We celebrate the Pilgrims and the first Thanksgiving. What you're not told most of the times in a socialist classroom, and they give you the sanitized Disney-ass version where everyone was happy about the settlers being there, and the Native Americans, remember, they're not Indians. Indians are from the country India. The people who already lived in the country we now call America were the natives, Native Americans. They were happy about the settlers being there, and they couldn't wait to help them because they were on the verge of extinction. They were going to die off. The diseases that they had brought with them, they did not know how to farm in this land. They didn't know how to hunt. They didn't know how to do anything. And the Native Americans came through and helped them because they were just so grateful for these newcomers. Is that the real story? Because in helping them, which they did, they took pity. They had mercy on these newcomers. And in helping them, they sealed their own fate. Because as soon as they got well enough, the following year, they massacred all of the Native Americans who helped them. They had no intention of sharing shit. We don't want to share. We're not even thankful for your help. That whole thank you shit, that was last year. This year, we own something else. Look at dark periods in history. Would there have even been slavery if the Africans had been like, oh, hell no. You and all you people rode in on your little ass boat, we're not even letting you step foot on this entire continent. Get the hell out of here. Now, the thing is, the Africans and many of those countries along the coasts of northern and western Africa had a history of trade. And what we find is that they had traded with far more people in other parts of the world than we're aware of, or what is told to you in class. For some reason, when it's put in textbooks, when Europeans end up someplace new, they tend to tell you that they discovered it. No, it was new to you. It wasn't new to everybody else. You know, Africans have already had a history of trading with people in Asia. You know, the Asian people didn't come over like, oh, we discovered this country. No, they didn't. It's like, we trading with y'all, now we going back home. We'll be back when we have some stuff to trade or some stuff that we want. Them other folk, though, was like, ooh, look at all this stuff that they got. Look at the way these people look. What if we just came down here and killed everybody and took everything? Works for us. The problem is we can look at the opinions that the humans had in episode 8, episode 9, and the Silurians. And the Silurians are representative of any culture that is unlike our own. It's easy to say the human race versus reptile aliens or whatever, whether they come from underneath the ground or they came from outer space. To us, it's the same thing. And it's probably one of the only times in human history that you'll see everyone band together. At that point, we will forget to be classist, racist, sexist, or whatever thing that has a ism on the end of it, because that's what we do. We are so used to dividing amongst ourselves that we can't figure this shit out and everyone get along, because we revert to our base selves. You have something that I want, and I'm not even really that interested in trading with you. I'm just going to take it. There's all sort of dystopian movies where we see point blank, if all the electricity goes out, if all power goes out, if a nuclear war or something happens, we revert back to kill or be killed, hunter-gatherer type of a society. And basically we're going to end up having warlords. Those people that can fight, and maybe those are generals already in our current military. Maybe they are kick-ass people, you know, MMA dudes or gang leaders or something, who are used to commanding a lot of people, usually through fear. Fear and strength will rule the day, not common sense and intelligence. What does that say about us, though, as a species? It's easy to look at movies like Independence Day and say, aliens come down to invade the earth. We need to fight together, band together as one people. And the thing that makes Independence Day half-assed believable is because each country said within that country, we're going to follow the leaders of that country and do what's best for that country. And then the leaders of each country started sharing. This is how we took down the aliens. Now do it in your country. But I did a review of this movie called Arrival a long time back that had a very different view on that. The one thing that they don't teach in school is really who's right. And the one thing I've always said about history is his story. Usually always told from a male point of view, because we have a very patriarchal society. But not only that, his story is, the story belongs to the winner. No one gives a damn about the loser side. The story comes from the winner. And however they win, or however their perspective of it is they get to create the narrative. Our current age, the internet makes it where it's not even really his story anymore, because everybody just makes up a damn narrative. And now there's more lies than truth. The truth is not winning out. Manifest destiny. You believe you have the right to something, regardless of what has come before, regardless of who's already there, regardless of who it belongs to. Think about if you lost your wallet. We have a saying, little kid saying, finders keepers, losers weepers. But if you lost it, do you believe the person that found it has the right to it? Or that they should have known it wasn't theirs, it was yours, and you have the right to it? That's a question that you have to answer for yourself. Who is right in this situation? And I hate that they did this punk ass cop out where humans are not ready to have this discussion, so we're just going to go back to sleep for 1,000 years. And you're right. Humans are not ready to have this discussion because they won't discuss it with each other. The problem is, will anything change in 1,000 years? We've had a few thousand years and we're not more evolved in our thinking than we were 1,000 years ago. That's just a fact. And it doesn't matter who the hell's in charge. And I don't know if we ever will be. Honestly. Leave me some comments. Let me know how you think about this. This as a two-parter episode, I really liked it because it spoke to me on a different level. But some of the choices that they made towards the end of episode 9 made this much weaker than what it should have been. How it should have ended, I don't know right now, but leave me your comments to how you think it should have went down. This is Rakai Steed, Nupe from the Ville. Like, comment, share. And if by all means, if you have not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. We are ridiculously, like stupid close to 1,000 subscribers. And I am thankful and appreciative for every one of you. If you don't have anything better to do, which you don't, put this video on, put other videos on in the background and let them play. Just listen and you might find something worthwhile. I need the viewing hours and maybe you can find some value in what it is I have to say. At any rate, I thank you, and remember, as always, it's all about this. Use this right here, but never forget to use this right here.